The messages that were given by the banks the last week, the Deputy Minister of Finance, Kukuru Hagen, over the weekend, claimed that the banks, they behave, well, I would say, well, childishly, but were very responsible. That's the very word that he used. Do you think so? And why? Because he said there was no, they didn't give clarity, or they didn't give good interpretation of what the law said.
Yeah,
you're a business development person,
yes,
so
yes.
I think
it's very true because yes, it is very true because I had messages from I said with two banks. One bank informing me that they are sorry to announce that from this day on they're going to charge VAT on every services. I said, what?
You
what
agitated?
I said, what do you mean? This? No, I don't think that this is going to be a real situation. It was a weekend. I didn't really bother. And then on Saturday when I was traveling for a funeral, I heard was it Joy FM interview? The banking Ghana Chartered Bankers or something there saying that the VAT is going to be charged on the non-core banking businesses, assuming you're going for a loan and they have to prepare a feasibility study for you, blah blah blah. That is supposed to be the job of a consultant, but now the banks are doing it because they want to have kind of a hold on whatever they do. Sometimes people go and cook figures for them and then they give the loans and they do it. So they themselves are doing it. That's service, for instance, is a non-core business, and therefore they're going to charge VAT on that if they do that to a customer. So I understood it that way. Then at that time I received another message still indicating that. I told myself, well, about the funeral weekend, when I come this Monday I'm going to do a research to find out what is the real situation. So if Egan is saying that the banks were not a bit responsible in churning out the information, yes, to me I think that was too early for them to have sent out that information if they really didn't understand it. And then yesterday I got another message from my bank indicating that they are still dialoguing with government to really know what businesses or services the charges will be on. How could the bank act this way? So I don't believe in using that word, but we should understand it, get certain before we come out with any information, because it's very, very important. Because I know a number of people who are saying that the price of money saves are going to increase. Because everybody, you're not going to charge me on everything I do. Of course, I'll go and buy a save and put it there and take the risk. Of course, it will make sense charging.
Because in the follow-up by customers to their various, whether it's relationship managers, etc., they even got the understanding that, well, if your salary goes to your account and the disbursement is made to you,
you're going to charge it.
You know, I guess the interpretation of the whole message, it sort of created fear and panic among the customers.
I think the banks really brought some chaos in the system.
Yeah.
And had it been in other jurisdictions, there will be a run on the bank. They themselves will have caused their collapse, right, by their actions. In this part of the world, I mean, we take a backstage and look at what happened the next day. But had it been somewhere, I'm sure most of the banks, you'll see a long queue front in terms of the Monday morning they would have, going for their monies, you know, because it wasn't practical. In the sense that if you're going to charge people's VAT on people's salaries and savings, and it was not going to be practical. So I believe that, during the week, last week, the ministers came out. Even they were still in dialogue. They were still in conversation as to the modalities, right? But for me, I always blame the parliamentarians, right? Because there was a lot of confusion even among the parliamentarians, because they are the lawmakers, right? And when they bring these bills to Parliament, they don't sit down to scrutinize it. Sometimes you look at the floor of Parliament. Seriously, my brother. Sometimes you look at the floor of Parliament. But it's my brother anyway. Anyway, you see, you look at the floor of Parliament, and when there's a debate going on, you can count the number of people there.
No, don't get it wrong.
I shouldn't get it wrong. They will tell me that they are in committee meetings.
Yes,
I was coming there. You are in committee meetings, right? Then a bill comes out and then somebody will say, oh, I don't know about it. Last minute the bill was brought, last minute when we were rising, and then we didn't see this. And oh, you come on,
but I guess you saw how the 2.5%.
This is so, my brother. Look, let us be serious about this thing. Because it was bad. Now, when you read the various interpretations, it means that the whole thing must go back to Parliament for them to have a second look at the law that they've passed. That is what is coming out now. That even if they say they are going to go on what the minister is saying, it has to go back to Parliament for them to go. In their legislation, there's nowhere called non-core financial service. It's not in the legislation that you people have passed. It's not there. So somebody can take you to court and say, look, you yourself, you are violating the article that you passed. So please, once again, we have to take ourselves serious. We have to. Otherwise, the banks cannot just get up and announce on a weekend. They were lucky there was not a rush on their services. First and foremost, we need not do things that will put us, all of us, into a state of. I agree with what the banks got it wrong, and they must come and apologize.
The two of you are in agreement.
They got it wrong.
It means that all stakeholders are in agreement. Okay, we have government retrieving. We have been told 320 million Ghana cedis from tax evaders at the free zones enclave. Now, I just don't want us to discuss this very subject, but the subject of the free zones enclave, and the issue of monitoring as to whether they're complying with the law that is keeping them there, etc. Because in other countries, I mean, if it's the US and all that, the IRS and all that will be on you.
Yeah. Of course, you see, I have always complained that we did not need Obama to come to Ghana to come and tell us that.
Well, you did. Yes. Come and tell us what you did.
Yes. That we should build strong institutions rather than strong men. I don't think we needed him to come and tell us. That is our main problem in Ghana. Institutions are established to perform certain functions. We should allow the institutions to perform the functions to the letter, irrespective of who they are to check. You see what is happening in Ghana now? These free zones business guys, they come, they are given all the facilities that they require in Ghana. They operate for a certain number of years, and they say, oh, we are not breaking even, we are not making profit, and then they pack off and go. They would have made a lot of profits underground. 8 years, if you allow somebody to work for 8 or so years before coming out to declare whether the business is doing is profitable or not, before we apply some tax on it. Sometimes I don't get it. Let's get the institutions right, okay, to monitor them. It's the monitoring system. So how come now they're getting people who are not paying tax? Is it that somebody has gone there who's so strict and doesn't even care about... There are some workers, I know. There are some real Ghanaian, or let me say selfless people.
It is a task force that has been established by the president. There's a task force that has been established by the president that is monitoring the...
Yes, but this will go on for a while. To stop. The task force are made of human beings. Okay? Unless you get very selfless people. Get very selfless. I used to know a certain man somewhere in Kumasi area there. He rides a bicycle. He will pray to God and say, me, I'm the richest man on this earth. Why? Because he says all he needs is to take care of his children and then ride to where his shop is and come back.
Everybody and their priorities, I guess.
And so he said he was a rich man. And I admire the man so much. You don't even have a car and say you're a rich man. Say, yes, my brother, what is it? That's what I need. And I have it. I don't need anything extra. And I was proud of him. I learned a lot from that man. I said, it's true. It is we those who want everything who have the problems. Tomorrow you want this, you have 2 cars, you want an SUV, you want this, then you have problems. Because you keep on challenging yourself. So that things that you don't have to do, you do them. This task force that you are talking about, my brother, they just started. You know what? These businessmen who are there are going to find a way out for them.
But then we need to make sure that they don't find a way.
And so we should find strategies. If that man is there working for about say 3 months, 4 months, when he stays there for 6 months and you think that something of that sort will happen, what do? You change him. Send him somewhere and then you bring another person. Let's strategize. We should think and see how good things can be sustained. All bad things, of course, we should find antidotes to them.
Well, you're a businessman. You bring investors from outside to Ghana. You've been doing that for decades. Now, I'm sure some of you have you've had some business friends who operate in free zones, etc. The point is, you're supposed to operate within a certain regime.
That's right. Yeah.
But sometimes they try to flout or take advantage of what the law says.
Of course.
If we have to enforce, do we need a tax force which is an ad hoc body, or we need the real tax agency that is supposed to be doing that, the GRA, to be doing the enforcement?
I was coming to that. It's the GRA. The law is there that 70% of their goods, right, are non-taxable. The 30% that they consume that they sell in this country must be taxable. Almost of their products come in free because they are not because of the free zone. The whole idea of the free zones enclave, right, is to create jobs for our people here. The whole idea.
And also bring some investments.
Bring some investment.
And also retain technology transfer.
That's right. Good. Now you've got GRA, Ghana Revenue Authority. And they're supposed to have customs personnel posted in these free zones enclave to be monitoring the activities. You understand? My brother just said it. It is us who have been employed, and then you want a basic minimum wage, right? You want good salary, and you've been employed to work and get money so that you'll be able to pay your salaries. Then you go and connive the people not to pay the taxes. And then come and blame who? Roland. It is us. Us. Like you say, you can, when you are in the US or the UK or Germany,
you can't evade.
And you have been employed.
You've been evade for a long time, but
when you look at the customs, when you look at the customs officer's face, the man is not smiling with you. It's a state of police regime. The customs officer,
very impassive.
Very impassive. He's not going to mind you at all, because he knows he's building a nation. Look, until we all of us actually change, because the government's eye is not there. That is why the government has now that the government is looking for money, he has put up a special tax, because he realized the people that have been employed to be doing those kind of are not up to task. So we have to change ourselves so that we can be able to pay the minimum wage.
But beyond attitudinal change is the need for enforcement by the requisite agencies.
That's right. That's the institution mandated. That is why they are there. That's why people go and queue and look for job. Once you've been interviewed and been given a job, one, you will even go to work. Sometimes for days on end, but I blame the heads of those institutions, whether they also do the monitoring. That is where the bottom. That is where the problem is. All of us. It's a chain reaction. It's a chain. If part of the chain is not working, it will break. It will break. So we have to, as a nation, we need to constantly be educating ourselves. Remember, as I learned, when you are at a free zones enclave, your days that every day you monitor when something is going out. Is the 70% leaving the country? Is it going to have the harbor to be exported out of the country? The 30%, where is it going? Don't go and connive and let the 30% also be sold in Ghana, and then we don't have them paying taxes. It's us. The bottom line is us, all of us. That's the bottom line.
So my problem is, if we are able to identify a challenge or a problem, we should be able to design an appropriate solution to it. Yes. People are evading tax, we know it. Yes. Now, this is, to me, this tax force thing is ad hoc. If it has to take us some IT to be sitting somewhere and monitor all those things. You see, Africa, and Ghana, sometimes I say, what are we doing? We have traveled to the developed world. You go there, we see systems there. Can't you just go and copy and come and paste it? How are they able to?
Oh, you're a politician, so you guys are supposed to be taking
the one just started. Started as an assembly member.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yes. So sometimes I ask myself, so when I go to, like these challenges I'm talking about, when I go to my constituency, for instance, every assembly meeting, you call me, I'll be there. Because I realize that, excuse me to use that word, we need people like me to stay there and think for that small community.
I think you're one of the few politicians that
and think for that community. And so every day, any meeting, I'll be there.
Yeah, one of the few politicians that thinks differently, though.
You see, we should think. We should make things work. This thing you are saying that people don't work. My brother, I work at a government setting before, and you go there, the materials to work with are not there. Government is in trouble. Money. So only give money to people.
Yes,
I'll just agree about. Sometimes it's not the workers. Some people are willing to work, but the materials to work with are not available. Let me give you one example. I'm the deputy ranking member for Agriculture and Food Committee. When they brought the budget and we're looking at it, I said August. Every man that has been paid was for the first item, salaries and emoluments. And for operations, only 10.6% had been paid at August. So what do you expect them to do?
It's true.
Work. Extension officers, do what? Go to the field to what? No fuel, nothing. So what did that person do? And so that's why I'm saying that we know the problems, we should know the solutions. And do things right. That's all. We need sacrifice. All of us should have a complete paradigm shift. Our thinking should change.
Wait,
and we must go
on your
from the primary
practical
school.
point, you're giving a position. We'll see whether you can implement the changes. And you're talking about shortages, and sometimes there are no supplies. There's